for joining us on this wonderful topic of female founders in focus. And today it's about you and you're in focus. So thank you for coming. And I would really like for you to introduce yourself and then tell us a bit about your mission and what you're doing.
Sure. Thank you for having me. It's always a good chance to have this kind of talks with you personally, not only from a business perspective, but from a woman-to-woman perspective. My name is Diana Mereu. I'm a pharmacist by profession. I am within the healthcare and life science industry for more than 10 years now. I should stop counting at some point. And I also have a degree in public health management. I have followed an EMBA with the Master School of Management. Since the beginning of this year, I'm partnering with Lounge as the health tech vertical director. And last but not least, the founder and CEO of HealthFluencer.
Wonderful. And tell us a little bit about your mission.
Sure. I think I will better sum it up because it translates very well my mission as a person, the company's mission actually. So HealthFluencer is a mission-driven AI-powered company that matches health, self, and personal care brands with HealthFluencers. And the purpose behind that is actually to benefit consumers worldwide from receiving the most accurate and trustworthy information to base their long-term healthcare decisions on and, of course, improve the quality of their lives.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
What inspired you to start this and what kind of problems you're trying to solve with it?
Well, one problem at a time, let's put it like that. I think nowadays wellness companies are going through a hard time to find the right fit HealthFluencer to correctly communicate their brand. We do represent one of the most regulated industries, yet there still can be miscommunications, especially in the digital space when health claims are not followed. So this is why us at HealthFluencers, we are redesigning the way healthcare information is provided by tailor matching these companies with the qualified HealthFluencers that pass our green check, and nevertheless ensuring they have data available in order to predict impact of engagement and measure consumer response.
Oh, you mentioned trends. What kind of trends impact your business? And if there are also trends that you're following from the market?
At some point, I hope others will follow our trends. But for now, let's say that it's this whole prevalence of AI with natural language processing and with machine learning advancements. We also see a lot of interest post-COVID towards prevention of diseases and also self-control of healthcare decisions. Nevertheless, we witness a change in regulations when it comes to allowing products within the self-care spectrum to be advertised in online and on social media channels. And what's interesting to witness also is that US universities nowadays are offering degrees in influencing, and also YouTube has recently launched a program to foster health influencers.
That's something new in the market, right? You probably didn't think of this, 10, 20 years ago, to combine these two realms of the market, being that the health industry is more, let's not say rigid, but for sure a very mature market, right? And since we're talking market, can you tell me a little bit about how does your target market look? And how do you plan to reach that market? What is your positioning in the market in order to reach it?
Okay, got it. So we look at multi-branded, preferably English-speaking health, self, and personal care companies that we want to match with this qualified HealthFluencers. If only we are to look at the beauty industry, this has a TAM of over 32 billion. So I think we would be very successful in obtaining even like a small percentage of it. So we are targeting 1 billion out of that. And how do we expect to reach it? I think that was the second half of your question. Or how to reach these companies actually that we are targeting. One of the best things about us at HealthFluencer is that more than 60% of the team has healthcare background. So I think mainly would be by using our network. Also by offering free trials to companies for a limited period of time with, of course, customer support included. Having HealthFluencers pre-test the products previously. And I think what is also important is that these HealthFluencers could act as ambassadors for our platform. And nevertheless, or last but not least, I think I would mention partner with service providers of companies like PR agencies to help us kind of reach out to more companies and kind of boost the services or the level of servicing that we want to provide to them.
Okay, that's a really good input and good way to look at the market. I have a questions regarding you as an entrepreneur. I know you come from an executive position and you have a lot of experience in the same industry or in the industry, but now you're on a new journey, and this journey is different than when you work for a larger company or in a more organized setup. So startup life is definitely different than more of a corporate life. Tell us a bit about you as an entrepreneur. How is your life as an entrepreneur running a startup? What have been some of the obstacles or barriers or challenges that you encounter, and how you address them or counteract them?
Okay. The last part with the counteract, I don't know if we're there, but I can tell you a little bit of the challenges, because indeed they are way different from the ones that you encounter in your day-to-day corporate life. For me, it was interesting to see this entrepreneurial journey with all its ups and downs, like not being linear, and not allowing you to have like any kind of control over it. But that, in a way, kind of challenged us as a team to become more resilient, to put one step in front of the other, to keep going and persevere in what we were doing. So I think that was a huge learning out of it, and we translated in our day-to-day business. Another one, I think it was, or it still is, about defining a proper business model. And this is something that we still go back and forth to discuss and test with our clients. Also having the right people on the team, I would say was challenging, yet we did find them. But the only compromise that we made here was to have them only part-time or project-based, some of them, because we really wanted to work with the best. And I think mostly it's about that. Oh yeah, what I would add, I think it's rejections, because you get a lot in this space. And I don't know, we just learn to use the feedback and take the feedback out of it, use them as a fuel, and kind of something that motivate us to keep going.
I think it's very different than the corporate life, where in corporate life you have certain pathways and you have rules and you have even procedures, right? Startup life has no rules, everything goes. You're more of a mercenary and trying to shed light in the dark, right? And trying to find new pathways and lay new ways and lay new ways of being, and also innovate at the same time, which is putting light in the dark as the core of it. You talked about obstacles, and I would also challenge that to see how was your fundraising journey up till now, because most of the time this is one of the not necessarily obstacle but challenges of the life of an entrepreneur, and you as the founder are in the position where you have many hats. So not only do you have to find the right team, as you mentioned, not only do you have to watch the product and have all eyes on the market, but you also have to raise funds. So I was wondering, how has the fundraising journey has been up till now, and how do you envision from now on for the future?
Up until now, we have bootstrapped up to 20K. We talk euros or dollars here, so I'll just stick to that. And mainly we use those to help us with our day-to-day business. We have invested in them in different subscriptions, or paid for some server costs, expenses that related in a way with legal or accounting matters. Mainly, I think it would be around that. And also, and I think this is something important, and I don't think startups should cut it from their budget, because it has to do with exposure, and part of this budget we allocated towards conferences and events, and I think it's super important to engage yourself with people within the industry that you are targeting, of course through podcasts and this kind of events as well, but also live events in which you have the human factor included there as well. So of course this comes with a cost attached to it. Where we are now, we have some soft commitments, yet we're still looking to raise more, and we're targeting 400K. Half of it, or a little bit more than half of it, to use it for continuing to develop our platform post MVP and integrate with social media, and a little less than half of it would be for marketing, for sales, for having the key people on the team full time, and of course any other expenses that can appear. And what I would also like to add here, because both our journeys in a way were supported by Innovix. I think this kind of programs, either they are like pre-accelerators or accelerators or incubators, I think they are very good as a source of funding, either directly or indirectly, for very early stage startups, because they put you in contact with investors, VCs, and so on. So I think that's something that should be noted and taken into consideration for anyone who wants to start a journey and start looking at this kind of potential programs to be a part of.
Yeah. And we just started like that right before we turned on the mics. We were just
yes.
Sharing our experiences from different angles, so whether it's VC or startup, that Innovix has been a great facilitator for us, not only for investment and contacts for raising funds, but knowledge, structure, network, and some fun. We also had some fun.
Yeah.
So
this podcast.
Exactly. It's very rare, and I'm really happy to catch up with a friend over coffee, provided by Innovix, So it's nice to have you on the podcast. You mentioned that you are in a round right now. You're actively trying to raise funds. You mentioned how you're planning to spend the money and grow further. Tell us about, since you're talking about growing further, I'm very curious about the long-term mission. Where do you see the company in 5 years from now? How do you see, or maybe 5 years is too long, but what's the longer vision and the the scope of growth?
Sure. What's interesting in all this funding journey that we're experiencing as a startup, it's also that it made us change a little bit the optic in which we look at things, meaning we kind of expanded that optic to look beyond the health tech arena, even to investors that are interested in marketplaces or B2Bs or SaaS models. So having said that, I think looking at 5-year perspective, as you challenged me, I think we want to be there in which we can call ourselves the AI-powered HealthFluencer platform of choice for healthcare brands, virtually stimulating campaigns with digital twins. And why not looking at a partial or even full exit to a strategic buyer? It can be either a PR agency or an influencer marketing company or a social media platform, Gen AI company, or even web data providers. So yeah, let's catch up again in 5 years to see how that goes.
Who's the winner?
Yes.
But you mentioned something that kind of reiterated itself throughout your answers, which is the stories. I think is at the core of the product stays the ability to tell a story, because obviously any company being in the medical field or whatever, they will not be able to sell if they don't have a good story. And I think you could be that your solution can be this story provider in order to facilitate value in the market and value towards potential customers. And you also have your personal story as a let's say a health industry expert, right? In new position as a startup and entrepreneur.
Yeah.
How important is storytelling at the core of the product? And also, what would you want the story to be about your product and your company?
Sure.
So there are two angles, very different from different angles, but I think the core of story is the common denominator.
Yeah, well, I think for a storyteller for HealthFluencer, I would definitely employ you, because you have already put it in such good words. But it is very important in a way, because you let people to see beyond numbers and to see beyond your daily activities. In a way, the story provides the why to the what of what you're doing. So I think that's important to witness. I love to do business with people that I understand the core beliefs and values and the why behind they are doing it. And I feel the other way around applies too.
Oh, that's true. That's true. And because you turned it around, I will have to also ask you, what are some of the success stories, maybe testimonials, that if you have any that you can share with us, that would be really wonderful to know.
Okay. Yeah, that's a nice starting point right there. And I have ongoing right now beta testing with 3 companies actually. One is a food supplement company, another one a beauty company, and the third one is a medical clinic. We undergo these testings with them in different ways. The one with which we went mostly in depth with through all the stages, from filtering to matching to campaign design, delivery, and also measurement against KPIs, is the medical clinic. So in a couple of weeks, we will end this beta testing. So that's when I think we'll have the success stories to tell further about it.
Oh, looking forward to them.
Yeah.
And since we, talked about stories a lot, I will circle back and also would like that to be, our wonderful closing podcast about your personal story. You talked a little bit about your journey at the beginning and how you shifted. But why influencing? Obviously, the health part, we got it.
Hopefully,
because
after
we always want to
20 or 30 minutes, I managed to do that.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of doing things that we're good at naturally, and if we also have experience in that domain, might as well, put a bigger dent in that field. So we have the health side of things, but I'm very curious about your personal story towards shifting or going towards the influencer side of things, and how you saw the market and the need in the market, because I think your optic, having had the experience and having had the practice and, a good relationships with many players in the market, I think you had an amazing insight, but I'm more curious about your intake on it.
Yeah. Okay. So having the health part checked, moving further to the influencing one, I have to say that influencing is a word that encompasses many things. And one of them, and that's mostly relatable to me, is actually having a positive impact in people's lives. And that you can do either by being a good friend, or either by being somebody who shares about or who cares about sharing information that is reliable and accurate and trustworthy to people. Or it can be somebody with a degree at the end of the day that has the best capabilities and expertise to do so. So I think it's a general term that we try to use to fit more of the areas that we plan to go towards. As we were talking, we're just like at the beginning of it. So I think we try to squeeze it in a word that could allow us to grow further and bigger in the future.